Hello everyone, welcome to another development update for DragonClash Digital. I'm Mark Arona, the creator of the game. In the last update, I introduced everyone to a first look at the game's pre-alpha state and played a match featuring the Red Breather Dragon. In this update, you may notice some changes to the interface as I've added some more graphic elements, as well as basic usability features like the rulebook, kind of important. You'll see here, just flip through it real quick. And the options screen, just kind of basic right now. As I add more features, I'll expand the options available to people. But for now, let me just turn down these sound effects. Alright, and the biggest update, of course, is that I've added the Blue Adept Dragon, and I'll take you through another match using her deck to hopefully show off some of the playstyle differences versus the Red Breather. As before, everything you're seeing is in development and is subject to change. The game demo is currently in alpha. I'm hoping to release a public beta demo in the very near future featuring these two dragons. As always, I invite you to keep up with the latest updates on DragonClash Digital by following me on Twitter or Facebook, and the link should be in the description of this video on YouTube. Okay, so my daughter told me last time I rambled on too much at the start of the last video, so I'll try to do better, and let's just get playing. Alright, so as before, nothing is set up ahead of time. I didn't stack the deck or anything. And actually in the last test match I played right before this, Horlock, the Red Breather, just totally shredded me. So hopefully I'll put up a better showing in the actual video. Alright, so let's take a look. Notice the Dragon Egg is different. As always, if you're watching this is your first development update video, the goal of the game is to claim your opponent's Dragon Egg. So that's the Blue Dragons. Looks like we're not getting a lot of Blue Dragon specific cards off the top here. Take a look at her Hatchling card. The Blue Adept is a little more defensive than the Red Breather. Red Breather is pretty straightforward deck. It's really just aggro, breathe as much fire, as much damage as possible in single attacks. The Blue Adept is really about discards. You want to make your opponent discard their cards and hopefully discard their Dragon Egg in the process. And she's a little more defensive and a little bit less offensive, so it's you have to kind of slow play it a little bit more. Use things like Gaia's Wisdom to up your ratings so you can hit more often. Used Aim Strike, one of the new features in DragonClash Digital, which boosts your attack ability at the cost of reduced rank in your attacks. Anyway, so Horlock strikes first. Drew battle value. He got the higher battle value. Let's see what he does. Alright, he's staying in melee range, no big surprise. Okay, and he played alright. He's playing an event and a gift right off the top, so get some action going. Alright, so again, all dragons start the game with claw attack. That applies to red or blue or whatever color. All dragons can use your basic claw attack. Most dragons will also share a tail bash. This is one of the ways of discarding cards, assuming you can train it up to a high enough level. But the Blue Adept also has counters, such as Bitter Chomp, which can force an opponent to discard cards. And her main attacker that she's infamous for is the Taunting Breath attack, which I don't currently have. Hopefully I'll pull it later. And that combos well with a lot of other attacks that you hopefully will see soon. I can't use this counter yet. It's asking me if I want to use a counter. This counter requires me to have a 2 in my tactics. I currently only have a 1. So I can't use that yet. However, this one only requires a 1. So I will go ahead and play that. Okay, good. Again, that actually, there's a good example of the benefits of the counter. This defend counter added 1 to my defensive ratings. So he pulled the 4, I pulled the 4. He added his 1 because the claw attack takes the melee rating and pits it against my body. So Korlak had a 1. I had a 2 because of the defense. So he had a 5, I had a 6. That's why I ended up missing. Actually, if it was a tie, tie would have gone to me as well because I'm the defender. The attacker has to get a higher battle value, total battle value pull to actually hit. Alright, so he missed. Alright, so yeah, the event he played is called Slayers. DragonClash takes place in a modern day world. So there are human militia and military elements fighting the dragons as well as the dragons fighting themselves. So in this case, kind of as we're fighting, the military is kind of is also fighting us, and so we're going to be taking a little bit of damage every turn until we get rid of that event. This will speed up the game pretty dramatically, as I'm basically going to be all taking damage until I get rid of that. And this Smoke Aura will up Korlak's resist rating. Won't have too much of effect in this match because I'm not going to use a lot of breath attacks. Blue Adept uses magic for the most part. She does have 1 breath attack, but it's kind of a fringe attack to train, at least for her. Whereas if Korlak was playing against another red breather or any breather, dragon for that matter, this would be a huge card because that would help his defense against breath attacks. Alright, let's move on to Ards. So, okay, we regained 1 essence. Alright. That was the essence we lost from the Slayers. Okay, we're going to stay in close range. Range, again, if you're just kind of watching for the first time, range is important. Some attacks, for example, Tail Bash, you can only use in the melee, close range. There are some other attacks that you can use in distance, and safe is kind of you can't use anything except some effects while you're in safe. So we're going to stay in the close range so that we can use our claw attack. Okay, so we have 2 actions every turn. We want to be hoarding. He actually doesn't have anything in his hoard, so we can't use our feasts card yet, which removes those cards from the game. I am going to play Gaia's Wisdom, partly because an event, you can only have 1 event on the board between the 2 of us at a time, so if I play this card, it'll wipe out his event and also benefit me, so let's do that. So now I'm going to have +1 to all my attacks. I have 1 left over. Let us see, I have 2 counters, so I'll just hoard 1 of them. For me to age my dragon, aging my dragon is how I improve from going from hatchling to child to young serpent, etc. That's how you improve your dragon. I need 2 cards in my hoard, and then I can age from that, shed my skin, and grow bigger. Alright, we're going to select our attack. We only have 1 so far trained. This is saying rank 1, so this is going to cost me 0 essence, and if I hit, it'll do 1 damage. Your deck in DragonClash, your deck is your life and also your essence, so any cards I play, for example, if I played Tail Bash, which costs 2 essence on rank 1, I would have to discard the top 2 cards from my deck just to attempt the attack, and that would do 4 damage if I hit. Alright, so this is free. Claw attack is a unique attack in that rank 1 is always free, so it's a good kind of, you can kind of mess with their discard pile, and or just, you know, kind of chip away at them slowly. Alright. Great. So, even though I didn't have 2 cards in hand, oh, lovely. This is going swimmingly. So, even though I didn't have 2 cards in hand, he chose to use his feast card, which is fine. Basically, he removed this card from the game, I can never get it back. At least the Blue Adept can't get it back. Some other dragons might have the ability to interact with the graveyard. But for the Blue Adept, this card is now out of the game, which is no big loss. It's only a 1 battle value card. And then he removed my Gaia's Wisdom and replaced it with his own, which means he gets the +1 attack, which is huge, especially against me because I tend to be defensive. So that's going to help put him over the top. I am going to counter again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save the card to Horde, so I'm just going to pass. No big deal if I get hit. It's only 1 card, and I did, of course. All right. So yeah, now you notice his attack is 2, is a melee attack because of Gaia's Wisdom. Actually, everything went up. So these were both 0 before. Now they're 1. All right, I'm gonna stay in close. Apparently, he's not too interested in aging. He keeps playing a lot of cards, but not concentrating on aging. I will, however, try again. Attack. Another miss. Alright. Alright, good. So now he hoarded 2 cards. We're going to hit him with a feast next turn to remove those cards from the game. Slow him down a little bit. He's hitting me again. It's good. I'll regain that 6 battle value card. The cards you regain go to the bottom of your deck, so hopefully you'll see them again. In that sense, it's important to not keep too many high battle value cards in your hand or on the board because you want them in your deck so you can pull them to hopefully hit your opponent with. Sticking close. Alright, so we're going to shed our skin now. When you shed your skin, you pick the card you want to keep, and you discard the other one. So, in this case, they're both pretty low battle value cards, but I'll just put the higher one in my discard pile in hopes of, regaining it. So I'm going to keep the Reckless Attack, shed the skin. You notice now I am a child dragon. My body value went up 1, so I'll be a little bit harder to hit with versus his claw attack. Unfortunately, he counteracts that by having his Gaia's Wisdom out. Alright, and I have one more. Let's play Feast. Let's see what we got rid of. So, we got rid of Tailbash. Okay, so he had 2 pretty low ranked cards in his Horde, just smart. So he's not really losing a whole lot. Let's see if we can actually hit. Hey! Is that our first hit of the game? I think it was. Alright. So far we have a pretty slow match going. There's a lot of on-board development early and not a whole lot of aging. Possibly because we both played Feast cards, so it kind of slows things down. Again, I'm gonna hold on to my counter. Just because I want cards to the Horde. And these aren't very damaging attacks. Cool, so we have another Blue Adept attack. I'm going to show off now. So as I mentioned before, all dragons have a breath attack. The Blue Adept doesn't really, it's kind of a fringe attack for the Blue Adept. Against Corlock, it's not a great card because Corlock is a Red Breather himself, so he specializes in breath attack, so he'll have a few to choose from. However, this does do a bunch of damage, so if you choose to develop it on its own, it can just be a pretty devastating attack. And it has a pretty cool rank 3 ability. If you get it up to rank 3, if you train it up that high, not only will you get +1 to your breath rating to make it easier to hit, but you can force the opponent to skip their range phase, which essentially means you freeze them in place. So if you're playing against a melee specialized dragon, for example like a Brown Mauler, you can freeze them in place while you kind of dance over the distant and blast them from far away. However, against Corlock, once he starts training his breath attacks, he'll probably be just fine in distant range, so it won't really, that particular ability won't really have much effect on him. However, damage is damage, so it's a pretty good attack if we choose to develop with that. We can't even train it though until we get to 3 tactics, so either we have to hold on to it and just keep aging, or more likely I'll probably just end up discarding it because I want that 5 back in my deck to hopefully pull later. Alright, let's keep aging. Let's hoard. We haven't gotten a whole lot of other attacks we can use. Debating whether I want to train in Tail Bash or just kind of hold out and hopefully get some Blue Adept specific attacks. I'll go ahead and put this in my hoard. We'll stick with Claw Attack for now. It's not sexy, but hey, just chip away at them. Good. Alright, he just aged. He's a little bit behind the 8 ball though. He just aged a child and we're going to age to young serpent, so that's good. Let's see what he's looking like. So now his attack, his melee attack, which is what he uses for claw attack, is up to 3 because of Gaia's wisdom and also because he aged. So yeah, it's gonna be rough. He's got the advantage now. We're fine now because again, claw attack is a pretty low damage attack at rank 1. Even at the higher ranks, it's not hugely damaging, but he's at the age now where he can start training in other. I believe he is. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he's got to age the young. He might have to age the young serpent. Yep. All right. So we still have a little bit more time before we'll start seeing some of the kind of the mid-game attacks starting to be trained. At the start of the game, you can pretty much train claw attack or tail bash. And some of the more mid-game attacks come once you age up a little bit. Alright, we're going to stick in close. We're going to keep Reckless Attack, and we're going to discard Frost Breath, again just because we can't even use it now. And I want that 5 back in my deck where I can hopefully pull it later when I'm attacking. Or defending. Oh, right. So, didn't really matter because one of the new features in DragonClash Digital is that whenever you shed your skin, you recall an attack, and I only had 1 attack in my discard pile, the one I discarded, so luckily for me, I actually recalled it immediately. So if I had a different attack at the bottom of my discard pile, I would have. It always pulls the oldest attack. So you recall the oldest attack. So if I had another one below Frost Breath, I would have pulled that one instead. But since I only had 1, I just got that card back. Alright, so now I'm a young serpent. I could start training my Tactics 2 attacks, but I don't have any currently. That's going to keep plugging away here. Good thing is now I can use Bitter Chomp, so to counter. I guess I'll go ahead and board again. Alright. What are you up to, Corlock? Okay, so now that I am have up to Tactics 2, I can use Burst. Burst is a good way, especially in the mid to late game, of slipping into a different range. So if, say, Corlock focused on melee attacks, I could burst over to distant and then he wouldn't be able to attack me. I'm going to hold on to the bursts right now because no point in really using them yet. Alright, he just aged. Alright, this time I'm going to counter. If he misses, he'll have to discard a card from his hand. Usually I could choose hand or horde, but he only has them in his hand currently, so hopefully he'll actually miss. But hey, good. So once I end phase, he should discard a card, and he did. He discarded Rend Gift. I don't have any gifts in play, so that's a good card to discard. Ooh, I got another one. Nice. Let's see. On the not burst, I will go ahead and I'll do it again. So I'm going to get it back. Okay. And let's see. I really need some other attacks. I'm just focusing on claw attack here. Sometimes that happens. You just, depending on your pull at the beginning of the game, you might have to slow play it a little bit. So instead of focusing on developing our attacks, we're just focusing on aging, and that's fine too, because the higher we age, the more attacks will unlock later that we could develop, rather than kind of pigeonholing ourselves early. Oh, so he hit me with a counter, which is why I just lost five life, because I missed, and because I missed, he jaw snapped me for 5. So let's see. Oh man! All right, so Taunting Breath. I mentioned that before. I was hoping to pull this card, kind of the signature attack for the Blue Adept. Because it's a really discard focused. Rather than doing damage, you can force the opponent to discard cards, and if you get it up to rank 3, you can actually force them to discard 2 cards. Really nifty attack. Let's see what else we lost. Constrict, another Blue Adept counter. It's a late game counter, but this one, whether you hit or miss, or whether the opponent hits or misses, they have to discard a card. You do have to spend 5 essence to use it though. Oh, and great. So now you're seeing all of the, I guess the good news is next time I age, I'll be able to start pulling these cards. Actually, just the lowest one. So I'll pull Tail Slash next time I age. Tail Slash is a melee attack, but it's the Blue Adept's, one of the Blue Adept's main combos, and it's pretty evident here. If you train up Tail Slash high enough, and you also have Taunting Breath trained, you can actually do both attacks in one attempt. So, or one turn rather. So you hit with Tail Slash, and then you can do Taunting Breath for free. So it's a good way of hitting them, and then also for damage, and then also forcing them to discard. Oh, I lost some big cards there. That was a tough one. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Alright, and now I have to discard down to 7 cards. I'll go ahead and put Frost Breath in and regain it next turn. We're gonna really, this is gonna be the second time we feast. It's gonna slow him down again. Good for us while we try to regain some of these cards. Do I want to counter? Yeah, let's counter. It does 2 things. It gets the 6 back in our deck. Good, and he missed, which means he's gonna have to discard a card. This time we'll have a choice. We can pick one of these cards, or we can pick one from his hands. Now, normally I would discard from the Horde, because that slows him down. He'll have to, basically, each card he puts in here is an action, so by pulling it from the Horde, he just basically wasted an action, because he's got to replenish it and then age. However, since we're going to feast next turn, and those are going to be gone anyway, I'm just going to pick from the hand. So he's going to be down to 2 cards in his hand, one of them being his egg. So right away, he's going to be really low on cards, and it will be easier to target his dragon egg later, assuming he doesn't have it in his Horde, which he might. It's rare. It's not a good place to hide your egg because a simple feast card could end the game. But sometimes, you try to sneak it in there, just to change up the your strategy, because everyone expects you to have it in your hand. All right. Nope. Let's feast. See what we get. Okay, so. Alright, this is a good card to get out. We just eliminated one of his 6 battle value cards. Oh, 2 of them. Wow. Alright, so he couldn't use stun, which is probably why he put it in there. I'm a little surprised he put a Jaw Snap in. What did he have in his... Oh, okay, so he must have a lot of high battle value cards, because he discarded another one. And one of them is his Dragon Egg, so I don't know. He must have another, either maybe he's holding an attack to train. But either way, we just it's 2 good cards to get out of the game. Alright, we have 1 action remaining. Let us... I'll go ahead and put trusty old Frost Breath back into the Horde. There we go. That's his other card, Jaw Snap. And this time I hit him, so he's not going to get to Jaw Snap. That means he's only got 1 card, and one of it, and that's the Dragon Egg. So we know he's going to pull one now. The combination of feasts and me hitting him with the counters have just really decimated his early game. Because he played so many cards early. He played 2 events. He played a gift. He's really drained himself of cards. If we can actually get some attacks trained, or some more counters, this could be an early victory for us. I want that Toning Breath card. And it goes back to the bottom. Alright. Oh, good. Alright. Oof. Alright, so we only get 2 actions a turn. I want to play this, Gaia's Breath, because it's an event, and not only will it up my defensive ratings, body, will, and resist, but it will eliminate his Gaia's Wisdom. So I really wanted to age so I could pull Tail Slash out and start training that, but it's kind of a 2-for-1. Not only am I upping my defense, but I'm reducing his offense. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. And then I will put the card in my Horde. I'll age next turn. So you see, even though I'm kind of chipping away at him, I'm not really, he's basically regaining the damage that I'm doing to him every turn. So really what I'm making him do is cycle his cards. It's you're not going to win the game doing this, but it's a good way to kind of keep an eye on his discard pile, because sometimes you might actually not even want to attack. If he had a 1, I haven't been paying attention too much during this particular playthrough, but if he's got like a 1 or a 2 battle value card, you might not actually want to attack. You might want to let him cycle that in, just so he gets low battle value cards in. And however, if he has a high battle value card, you might want to hopefully hit him, and then he'll discard a card, and that'll prevent him, at least this turn, from regaining that high battle value card. Let's see, what am I doing? Okay, ending my phase. He's regaining cards again. I don't like it. Okay, finally we're seeing some other attacks trained. So, Flame Tongue, it's a kind of a mid-game melee attack. Again, doesn't do a ton of damage, but it's pretty cheap to use, and most importantly, if he gets up to rank 3, he can knock my ranks down. So if I only have a rank 1 attack, I won't be able to use it at all. If I have a rank 2 attack, it'll become a rank 1, etc. just for the turn. But that can make a difference, especially if I say train Tail Bash up to rank 3 and I get hit with a Flame Tongue, he'll knock it down to rank 2 and I'll lose my extra effect. Alright. Let's get training. Let's get our card back. Alright, shed the skin. We're gonna get Tail Slash. Yay. And we're gonna train it. Alright, so now we have our mid-game rather, melee attack as well. And like Flame Tongue, it doesn't do a ton of damage, although actually if I ever get it up to rank 3, that's a decent amount of damage. Most importantly, I want to get that up, and I want to get Taunting Breath out, because I can combo them. Not necessary, but if I do, it's probably game over. We're going to start hitting with our mid-range, and hopefully, good. So now we're going to start doing a little bit more damage. It'll be a little bit harder for him to regain. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Oh. Okay, so that just happened. Alright, so you saw a few things there. You might have seen the aim strike prompt pop up. So what's happening is, first of all, he trained Flame Tongue to rank 2. So now, if he wanted to, he could spend 2 essence to potentially do 5 damage. However, instead of doing that, he chose to do an aim strike, which means he knocked his rank down willingly to 1. By doing that, he's going to have a +1 to his battle value pull, which he probably wanted to do to counteract my Gaia's Breath. So that basically negates my Gaia's Breath, and we're going to be depend on what cards we pull off the top. Unless I counter. Do I want to counter? 3 damage? Not really. It's fine. I'll hold on to it. Yep, and he hit me. Alright, so what did I lose? Let's see. What do I have in here now? Alright, well I just actually pulled it back in before I could see. But I'm regaining 2 cards a turn now, which is good. Alright. What is at the bottom? Let's see. Yay! Alright, so Taunting Breath will be the next attack we recall. So I want to age as quick as possible. Let's do that. We're not going to need Cloud of Stupor up to my will rating, which is good against dragons. Like if I was in a mirror match against another Blue Adept, or the Silver Channeler, a dragon that uses magic attacks a lot, this card would be good. Against the Red Breather, who has no magic attacks, it's kind of pointless. So I'll just use it as a battle value and get it back into my deck, hopefully. Slash away. Alright. Let's see what we made him get rid of. Oh, good. So that's 2 of his breath attacks. He's got in his discard pile now. Pass. Okay, so he's doing another aim strike. Alright, before I continue, he didn't hit me, great. One thing you saw, he hoarded a card, and then he didn't do anything else. He ended his action phase. One of the new features again for DragonClash Digital is you don't have to use your actions. In fact, if you don't, you'll actually do like a minor heal. So if you spend both of your actions essentially resting, you'll regain 5 cards. If you don't use one of your actions, so you just rest for one of your actions, you'll regain 2 cards. So he regained 2 cards because he's had 1 action left over when he ended his phase. We just got hit, so let's see what we lost. Okay. Alright, we're getting 2 essence, that's good. Get that constricted back in my deck. Sage Towers. This is a handy event, especially now because I'm really searching for cards. The thing is, I can only have 1 event out. So yeah, this would help me hopefully find more Tail Slashes, maybe the Taunting Breaths that aren't in my discard pile. Get them into my hand so that I can train them. This will help me find them. But if I play that, I'll get rid of my Gaia's Breath. So I think I'm going to hold on to Sage Towers, which kind of is risky because it's got a 6 battle value. So you'd like to see those cards either actually used or back in your deck. But I'm going to hold on to it because if he ends up playing another event later and wiping out my Gaia's Breath, I can then counter that by playing my Sage Towers and wiping out his event. So I'm kind of using it as a defensive reactionary card. Even though it would be helpful now, I'd rather have the defense against him. Shitter Skin. Okay, good. So we got Taunting Breath. Let's train that. Alright, so now this gets interesting. Huh. Alright, well let's see if first of all, let's see if I can hit. So it's going to cost me 3 essence. This is a pretty pricey attack. You might be asking, hey, if the damage is discard 1 no matter what, isn't rank 1 actually better than rank 2 because rank 1 is cheaper? And the answer to that is yes, but the advantage of having a rank 2 Taunting Breath is that you can then aim strike. So what you're essentially getting at rank 2 is the benefits of a rank 1 attack, so it'll be cheaper, but plus 1 to the attack. So it's the same thing with having a rank 4 versus a rank 3. At first glance they look the same. Why would I bother training up to rank 4? It's because you can actually still get, at rank 4 you can use the aim strike, which will mean you'll have a rank 3 at plus 1 attack. So in that sense, it's still worth training just to get that advantage to hit. We're going to go ahead, it's kind of a stab in the dark. Let's see, we only have 1 magic. Again, we're not a particularly strong offensive weapon. And he's got a 1 will, so it's even. And if it's even, technically the defender has the advantage because ties go to the defender, so not ideal, but we'll take a stab at it, mainly because he's got so few cards. We can really, if we hit, it could really slow him down. And we did, perfect. So now we have a choice. So we could either, we're looking for that egg. It's probably one of these 2 cards. It could be this card, that could end the game. I'm actually going to make him discard this card, even though I think it's probably in his hand. Because, again, it'll just slow down his aging. Now he only has 2 cards to begin with, so now he's going to have to maybe even slip his egg in there just to age. So, okay, I thought it might have been the egg for a second. Alright, so, no, his egg's one of those 2. Pass. Okay, so he's, again, probably because he only has 2 cards in hand, he really doesn't want to put his egg in there. He doesn't know if I have a feast card. I don't have any feast cards in my district card pile. So as far as he's concerned, he doesn't know if they're in my hand or in my deck, and they're clearly in one of those 2 places. And because of that, he doesn't want to get his hand too low. He's basically protecting himself from Taunting Breath, because if he put 2 cards in and only had 1 card in hand, chances are I would hit that card with Taunting Breath if I hit, and he would lose the game immediately by discarding his Dragon Egg. So in that sense, he only used 1 action, which means he's, at this point, damage to me isn't really doesn't really matter. The fact that I'm not really doing much to his deck, it would suck, but because the Blue Adept, at least this Blue Adept, the way I'm training her, focuses is on discard. Really, what I'm looking at are these numbers, and in that sense, we're well ahead. Can I counter with anything useful? No, it's just reckless, so I'll just save that for hoarding. Which is great. So now I'm getting three essence back a turn, because I'm already a young worm. What do we get back if we age? Let's see. Frost Breath again. Our good friend Frost Breath. Oh, and here's Ice Blood. Here's the other Blue Adept attack I don't think we've looked at yet. This is the other late game combo option. Immediately it might not look like it combos well with Taunting Breath. It doesn't actually mention Taunting Breath anywhere. But again, if you think about the Blue Adept focus being discards, the cool thing about this is on rank 2+, not 3+. So as soon as you start getting it at 2, every time you hit, it does -2 to the max hand size, which starts at 7. So the first time you hit, you'll knock it down to 5, and it's cumulative, so it saves. So every time you hit, it knocks it down to 2. So go from 7 to 5 to 3 to 2, and you get the point. So you get this trained with some kind of discard attack, whether it be tail bash or taunting breath, and before you know it, they'll won't be able to hold cards in their hand at all, which means he'll have to put the egg in his hoard, which means you'll know where the egg is, and that would combo well with your discards. So it's kind of a deceptively. Let's see what the damage is. I've one of the things I've done with DragonClash Digital as well. If you're a player of the original card game, you'll notice a few things with Ice Blood. One, the tactics requirement dropped from 4 to 3, which means it makes it easier to develop and combo. And also the damage on all attacks has gone up dramatically. This is a pretty high damage attack. So all around, this is just a good card, good attack to have. It also uses magic, not melee, which is important against dragons like, well, the Red Breather's main defense is against other breath attacks. But I don't believe, even as he ages, I don't believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that he has a very high defense against magic attacks anyway, so. Alright, anyway. I'm getting distracted. Hey, let's put Frost Breath into our horde, because we're not gonna do that. We're gonna train it. We have our attacks focus here. I do have a Ren gift attack. I could basically make him discard his gift, but this gift isn't doing anything against me, so he's welcome to keep that out as long as he wants. Alright, we're gonna do the same thing we did last time. We hit. Not this time. We do have to be careful because, as I said, we are actually at a disadvantage right now, and we could be eating through our essence pretty quickly if we keep missing. Not a lot of benefit, but you know, I consider this kind of the end game because, well, now he's getting cards, but it was worth the try, even though we were at a disadvantage, just because he's so low. Oh, great. All right. That hurt. I mean, it wasn't a huge. Well, I mean, it doesn't set us back immensely because he's only a young serpent. We're a young worm, so we're way ahead age-wise. But I never like to lose cards. Luckily, it's only one. I mean, it's a attack we're not planning on training anyway, and it's only one of 5 battle value cards, so it's not the end of the world. Alright. Let's stay there. Let's see, I'm debating whether I want to heal or not. Heal takes the last 6 cards, so really the last 5 because heal includes itself. So it'll be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 low battle value cards, nice blood, run get. I don't really. I mean, getting the ice blood and the cloud of stupor back would be nice, but the other 3 cards are not that important to me right now, so I'll hold on to it. I'm not planning on training Tailbash, so I'll just go ahead and put that in. I'll actually put the run gift in. He doesn't seem to be training any other gifts right now. Alright, can we hit? Yes, we can. Okay, so, I'm gonna slow him down. I'm just gonna keep slowing him down. It'd be great if I could get a counter or a another feast card, something where I can kind of double up my discards. Because right now he's drawing a card every turn, and I'm making him, even if I hit, I'm making him discard that card. So I need something to kind of get me over the hump, whether it be a training my taunting breath attack up to 3, or getting one of those count like bitter chomp back. Something where I can make him discard 2 a turn would be great. But in the meantime, he's slowing down dramatically. He just can't. He doesn't have enough cards to play. Burst now. I want to shed skin. Alright, we're now a mature worm. If you're wondering why the dragon is kind of splitting up, the lore behind the game, as the dragon ages, they become more of the pure element. In this case, the blue dragon is water or ice. So its skin is actually, it's gotten darker, it's gotten bloated. The last age you might have saw him, his eyes were glazed over, or her eyes were glazed over rather. And now her skin is literally splitting apart as kind of like the ice shows through. Alright, so I just shed skin. I pulled Frost. Maybe I should be training Frost Breath. I get them so often. When I have one in my graveyard, I don't know if it's worth it. I feel like the game's telling me to train Frost Breath, but I'm gonna keep aging because what is the next card we could pull here? Okay, well, next card is Tailbash Claw Attack. I don't really care about any of the recalling those cards. I'm almost tempted to play a Sage Tower just so I can find more Taunting Breaths and Tail Slashes. You know what? Heck, let's do it. It's 7 damage. Let's do it. Now the disadvantage I've kind of doing the whole Jack of all trades thing here, which is not the ideal way of playing typically, because you want to focus on 1 or 2 attacks usually. Excuse me. And now these are attacks. These are cards I'll never have back in my deck. So having 4s and 5s out, not ideal, but hey, it gives me options. In fact, now that I have a ranged attack, actually I have 2 ranged attacks, I can play these both at distant. I can start using my bursts more. I'll do that on his turn though. Yeah, so this is pretty silly for me to actually train this on a number of levels, because this uses my breath versus his resist, and he's got a resist from this of +1, which is why his resist is so high here. So I'm just not going to hit with that typically. My breath is only a 1, so I'm not going to hit with that. So that was kind of that was a waste of an action. I say that as I discard another Frost Breath. There's actually only 3 or 4 in the deck, so I see them a lot though. At least this game. Oh yeah, okay, so I hit. Let's discard that card in the Horde. Good. Okay, so now I haven't been doing it all game, but now I'm going to start bursting because he only has cards you can use in close range. I, however, have cards I can use in distant, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. So now I'm in distant range. I could actually burst again if I wanted to go to safe, but I don't. I want to be able to attack for free next turn, not have to move. So yeah, it's a good thing I'm not going for the damage route because I've done absolutely no damage to him other than feasting. He is pretty much fully healed. Again, I'm really just going for these discards. Now you'll see, because I'm in distant, to stay in distant is free. If I wanted to move back to close, I would have to actually pay essence to move. One to move in either direction. I'm gonna stay in distant. Oh, there we go. Totally missed drawing that. That's a good thing. We're gonna train that. We'll do that right now. So again, not any particular advantage to use it at 2, other than I can now aim strike, and that will put the advantage in my favor when I'm trying to see if I hit. Because I have so many options now, I have burst. I'm gonna go ahead and play a Sage Tower. That might be a mistake, but I really I want to get more cards in hand, and I want to get more, so I can train them. All right, so now we're going to do aimed attack. That'll be good. I'm really tempted to just hit his hand, but I don't want him to age, so we're just going to keep stifling him. He's really not getting to do anything because he's actually Sage Towers. You know what? That might have been a bad move because Sage Towers helps both of us. So yeah, it helps me find my cards faster, but it's going to help him replenish his hand faster. So that probably was not a smart move on my part. I got a little greedy. Got a little anxious because I wanted to kind of push the game forward. No take-backs. So he's spent an essence to move into close range. I'm going to go ahead and just move back into distant. So he's not going to be able to attack. He will draw a card though, so now... I keep drawing bursts, that's good. If I get to... I'm going to trying to get to age 8, because once I start aging after 8, there's no... Once you get to Elder Worm, there's no other age levels about that, and you just start ascending. And ascending means you're able to pull cards out of your discard pile. I don't have anything in here that I actually want particularly, but the option is good. Especially if I start getting Taunting Breath and Tail Slashes in my discard pile. Where are these cards? Jeez. Alright. That happens sometimes. So I'm trying to give myself options of development here. Alright, let's do it. Aim strike. Just keep whittling him down. This though. That sucks. Alright, so normally I would keep bursting to stay in distant range. But because I pulled this counter, just double checking, yes, I can actually use it. I can only use this counter in close range, so I'm going to keep that. This could be the 2-for-1 I've been waiting for. Meanwhile, good. So he did me a favor there because he actually, now he's got some cards in hand. He's feeling randy, and so he pulled the feeling dangerous. He actually trained to attack as well as hoarded a card. So to counter. So, no matter what, I just have to spend the essence. This is actually, I'm actually, just even though I've kind of been on the edge of victory here, I'm just slowly getting, he's actually chipping away at me, just because it's taking me a lot of effort to kind of keep the status quo. I'll just keep working that horde. And I hit, he hit me rather. Great. Alright. I really need another taunting breath. Need to get this to level 3. I have no counter, so I'm actually going to burst. I could spend the essence to get to distant, but I don't want to spend any more essence than I have to. I'm getting low, so what am I doing? I'm staying close, and I'm going to burst into distance. Stick around there. Alright, so I am all icy now. I'm going to get 4 back a turn, which is great, and most importantly now, when I start shedding my skin, I won't be able to shed my skin, I'll be able to ascend, which ascend is a new feature for DragonClash Digital. I currently have 6 cards in my hand. Basically, when you ascend, you pull cards from the bottom of your discard pile, so I would start with defend 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 10 cards in my hand, so I'd grab those bottom 4 cards. Which is good. I'd get a Constrict and I'd get my Gaia's Wisdom out, which I might want to get rid of the Sage Tower because I'm sabotaging myself. Geez, I got 2 Tail Bashes now. There's another way I can discard, force him to discard, so it might be worth training a 5th attack. You can only have 5 attacks trained, so if I train Tail Bash, that would be my last attack that I can train. Debating whether I want to heal. Siphon Life is a Blue Adept gift. I spend an action, I get to draw a card, and all my attacks go up 1. That's actually a good card to have. It'd be better than Sage Towers. I'm gonna heal just to get that card back in my deck. Alright. Arcane Blood would be nice too. +1 magic. Which is important for Taunting Breath, because it uses magic. Alright. We'll keep trying with this. He's pulling his counters, let's see. Ah! Okay. So I didn't even get to pull battle value there because he played a counter, reckless attack. On countering, you draw your battle value, and if you get a 1 or a 2, the attack automatically misses. I don't even get to draw. So he pulled so I just wasted 3 essence. I didn't even get a chance to hit. Hey, but I did get a bitter chomp, so that's good. Alright. Oh, okay, so he's staying in distant, probably because he's going to use Ember Breath, so he's got his breath attack now, he's going to start hitting me with it. However, I'm actually going to, Bitter Chomp I can only use in close range, and I want to use it, so I was kind of hoping he would move to close, but he's not, so I'm going to have to play my burst. I could go to safe or close, I'm going to go to close. Just so I can counter. Okay, so now that we're in close range, he's changing his... I think he would have Ember Breathed if he was in distant, but since we're in close, he's going to go ahead and try his Flame Tongue. I hope he misses. Yay! Discard a card. Let's discard from board. almost don't even want to. Like, I want to move the distant just so I can stay away from his flame tongue, but it's not a level 3, so it won't actually diminish my attack. And he's gonna hit me with Ember Breath anyway. And frankly, I just don't want to spend any more cards because I'm looking for another Taunting Breath, which is in here somewhere. So I'm gonna stick him close. And just again, I'm debating whether I want to heal. I want the Arcane Breath, I want that Tail Slash, and I want that Constrict. So I want it all. I just want it all. Can I have it all? Let's do it. Get it back in my deck. Do I want the bottom 6 cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Debating whether I want to hoard cards and eventually ascend. I think just to give myself more options, I think I'm going to go ahead and train Tailbash. Because if I can get that up to rank 3, then I can make him discard with that. I'm focusing on discards. Anything that will force him to discard is what I'm about right now. Good. Alright. Ooh, okay. Again, Feasted, that's just another way of making him discard cards, or in this case, removing them. Good. That's good. Man. I'm gonna hold on to it. Good. Man, Sage Tower, this was a... Don't do what I do. This is a bad decision. It's slowing me down dramatically. I mean, yes, it's giving me more options. I can even play Ice Blood now. But he's just regaining as many cards as I force him to discard. Okay, now that's gone. What did he just lose? Good, he lost his Feast. I guess I'll hoard. There's no point in me playing unless I can do 3 Tail Bashes, I'll just hold on to it for now. Alright, at least I keep hitting. That's good. Alright. Alright, good. Counter. Come on, we can do it. Gotta get rid of this Sage Tower. I hope he does. Alright. Yeah, so the Bitter Chomp didn't work because he hit me. Oh, good. Alright. Alright, good. So now we can do Tail Bash. Alright, so now we have 2 options of discarding cards. However, this one also does damage, so since we seem to be kind of stalled out because of the Sage Towers, I really just torpedoed us there. This is good because I can actually start doing damage too, because I'm really not doing any damage to him right now. Only problem is, see, I have a 2 melee. He's only got a 1 body. Alright, that's fine. Because he just can't age at all. He's just stalled out. not. I almost feel bad for him. Almost. You can see how we've had to change strategies a number of times during this game. You know, we started really slow with claw attack. Wow, you actually ordered twice this time. If I get a feast card, that'd be huge. But anyway, yeah, we started slow with claw attack, and we just, you know, we've had to bounce between just trying to find a solution. Find an attack that we can actually focus on. I guess we've come full circle because we were holding that tail bash at the beginning of the game, and I was holding out for taunting breath. If we get another taunting breath and can start hitting with it, that's two discards a turn. That would be ideal. But in the meantime, we'll just focus on tail bash. Magic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, I'll play that, get this card back. Plus we're getting low anyway, it's probably smart. Can't use it, so I might as well hoard it. Only problem is now, when you ascend, unlike shedding skin, which you get one card back and you put one card in the discard pile, once you ascend, you lose both cards to the graveyard. So I'll never, no matter what now, I'll never see these cards again. Because if I ascend, they'll both go to my graveyard, not my discard pile. And if I don't do anything, they're just gonna sit here in my hoard, which is fine too, I guess. But this gives me the option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I wish there were some cards in my discard pile I actually wanted. I would like Gaia's Wisdom. Maybe I'll just get that just to get rid of Sage Towers. Might be worth it. Alright. Could be hits. Discard. Card. Oh good. Alright, so I'm going to do Slayers next turn just to get rid of Sage Towers. Oh, he actually aged. Wow. Alright, what a turnaround. Because he was recalled in an attack, he's just gaining cards again. Well, we might just be able to kill him with tail bash at this rate. We might not even need it. I wanted to do this stylish discard win, but hey, we can just beat him into submission as well. All right, let's see. Well, oh. Oh, there we go. Well, this is, I mentioned it was alpha. It's interesting I'm only getting the ascend button on one of the cards. That is a bug. I'll have to look at that later. Do I want to ascend now? Oh, here it is. Sage Towers, go away. Do I care about these cards now? Not really. So I'm gonna rest just because I want the essence more than I want to ascend. Keep pounding. No! Please don't miss. Okay. Good, so he had to discard a card. Slayers he's only got 6 life left, so this is good. Alright. It's getting close. Yeah, roll counter. Why not? Discard those cards, puppy. There you go. Discard that horde. Alright, good. He's only got 4 life left. Tailbash does 9 damage, so it'll be those 4. Actually, it'll be 3 because you have to pull one for battle value. So 3, 6, 7. So we'll have lethal if we hit. Let's do it. No, we're happy there. I will rest totally. I'll just get the 5 back. Essence is good. Hit. Yes. Alright. We smacked him around with Tailbash after all that. I think I could have gotten him, or her, no, it was Corlock, so it's him. I could have gotten him down and won the game with Taunting Breath if I didn't sabotage myself with that Sage Towers, which just replenished his hand. I was trying to give myself more options, but I totally blanked and forgot it would help him as well. Anyway, victory! We have claimed a Dragon Egg and new rivals await. That's good. I'm now 2-0 in public showings after getting totally slaughtered. This time we had this game pretty well in hand, but last game he just shredded me. So it just goes to show you, games can swing pretty wildly, even against the same dragon types. Anyway, thanks for watching. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you'd like to follow along, I encourage you to go ahead and join the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook for updates in the game, and hopefully the next update will be announcing the public demo, the beta of that rather. Thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed watching this latest development update for DragonClash Digital.